you, bud. Classic Nick Cage.
Hey, internets! It's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Welcome to Paradise Academy, our Kids on Bikes RPG set in the fictional town of Paradise, Michigan. This is Season 2, Episode 36, The Ghosts of Stapler House, and it is our Halloween special. Excited to try to scare the players once again. I mean, essentially every episode of Kids on Bikes is a Halloween episode, I feel like. But let's just say I'm turning things up to 11 tonight. And I hope it is effective in what I'm trying to do. We'll get into the game here in just a moment. A couple super quick announcements, and I do want to try to be quicker than usual about this. First and foremost, if you take a look up above Doc Brown and Insane Clown Posse, in the upper right hand corner, you will see the domain pops. They are the domain dice for this campaign, and because we have a sub from M that we've already established the canon event of when you hit 69 months, you get a bonus pop. Nice. So that's going to be 2 pops for the price of 1. And that's awesome that M has also been subbed for 69 months. Nice. Domain pops, of course, are a way that you, the viewers, can have an impact on the game simply by subscribing, resubscribing, gifting subs, tipping $5, cheering 500 bits, or participating in the Ko-fi support, which, as a side note, I have a whole bunch of minis and dice towers that are on sale on the Ko-fi shop. That prices have just been reduced, so please do check that out if you want to get a hold of something that I painted, or one of the dice towers that I 3D printed and painted. You can get those over there. Looks like we've got another one here. I'm gonna get these straight because I feel like you guys are going to be wanting these things tonight. When you use them, of course, you get to hear pops being munched. Fun fact about the domain pop, it is now available on merch. You can now get a domain pop sweatshirt, t-shirt, sticker, tank top, long sleeve shirt, all that kind of stuff. If you head on over, just exclamation point merch. I'm sure at some point tonight Carrie will tell you all about it. But do check that out. We also have a new all beans. Tamiko, say it. I can't say it like you do.
I have to unmute myself for that. Beans.
There you go. The Coupal beans. And if I made Tamiko do it, M, we need to hear Jessica's ew.
Ew.
Ew is now also available in merch. Be sure to check out our schedule. We've got a couple new games on the horizon. We just had our 4th episode of the 2nd chapter of Sky Metal Iron Gods this past Tuesday. Another great game. And then, of course, we got this on Thursdays. We have 7 Dooms for Sandpoint is forthcoming, to be determined. And then every other Tuesday from Sky Metal is Scavenger Death at Dusk. Let's see. I'm going to make sure to emphasize this, not just for the audience, but for the players tonight. Content warning, just a reminder, we are adults playing as fictitious teens, kids, what have you in this fictional setting. But it does take place in the 80s, and it takes place at a fictional school. Tonight in particular has strong haunted house themes. And we'll be leaning heavily into horror, graphic depictions of violence, and horrific scenes. I want to remind, just let the audience know if that's something you're not into, please do feel free to go somewhere else, and take care of yourself. But also know that we have safety tools. We've had session zeros. We've established lines and veils. That being said, I want to emphasize the safety tools. If at any time something comes up that's just for, it's just a little too much, remember your safety tools, remember your traffic lights, either verbally or in the chat, whatever you need to get my attention. Yellow light or red light, or green light if you're digging how things are going. And I do ask of the players, if for some reason, if somebody hits a red or yellow and I don't see it, just draw my attention to it, please. I try to pay close attention to that, but I miss things. Last thing before we get started here is I do want to also remind you that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference, whether you believe it or not. It is true. There are any number of reasons why you might be struggling, whatever that may be. Help is as simple as typing !help in our chat, and a couple of URLs will pop up. You can check out findahelpline.com, or you can check out the growing list of resources at takethis.org. We encourage you to check out those websites, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, I would like to welcome you all to Paradise, Michigan. My music will start up here. There we go. I'm not going to give you a recap, because tonight's episode is a product of the fracturing iteration. A couple tidbits that I will give you that lead into this is immediately following your lunch, all of you would have noticed an increase in glitch activity, and at least one of, if not more than, depending on who, I don't have the class schedules in front of me, I don't remember when people are in computer class, but somebody, we see a scene of several computer screens glitching out, and then we see the phrase Ghost Protocol activated. Nestled among the gnarled trees on the north side of Paradise, Michigan, the Stapler House stands as a somber sentinel, its time-worn facade whispering secrets of a troubled past. Constructed in the late 19th century by Reginald Hawthorne Stapler, some locals believe the house was erected as early as 1895, a testament to the ambitious dreams of its builder. But those dreams soon soured, shrouded in an unsettling air of mystery and dread. In 1915, a series of bizarre and terrifying events unfolded, driving the Stapler family into the night and across the border into Canada, leaving their beloved home behind. The circumstances surrounding their abrupt departure remain murky. Stories of eerie lights flickering in the windows, spine-chilling howls echoing across the lake, and shadows lurking just out of sight haunted the townsfolk's imaginations. Rumors surfaced that the house had been left in the care of the enigmatic Page sisters, whose peculiar behaviors and nocturnal rituals only deepened the unsettling lore surrounding the home. After the brutal turmoil of World War I, the Page sisters gave Stapler House a new identity as Samaritan House, a convalescent home for wounded soldiers. Though advertised as a place of healing, dark tales emerged from its confines. Hushed conversations about the staff conducting horrific experiments on the traumatized soldiers, attempting to unlock the mysteries of the human mind and spirit. Locals spoke in hushed tones of soldiers who wandered the woods, their eyes glazed over with unspeakable horrors. and others who vanished without a trace, swallowed by the house's sinister grasp. Yet the absence of tangible evidence kept those tales nestled comfortably in the realm of speculation, feeding the growing darkness that enveloped the Stapler legacy. The 1950s ushered in an era of violence that stained the home's history yet again. J. Harrison Stapler, the only surviving son of Reginald Hawthorne Stapler, met a grisly end within its walls. His life snuffed out in a brutal murder that left his daughter and granddaughter fleeing into the night, their screams echoing through the empty halls. The identity of the killer remains shrouded in mystery, the shadows of the past refusing to yield their secrets. Locals often whisper about a ghostly figure seen wandering the grounds, an anguished spirit searching for answers amid the echoes of a forgotten tragedy. But perhaps the most chilling of all the tales is the one that emerged from the fateful party of 1975. Rumors of a night filled with laughter and music turned into a nightmarish massacre, where guests were said to have met grotesque ends. Whispers claimed that the walls of the Stapler house were stained with blood, and the floorboards creaked under the weight of the lost souls who had once danced there. Despite the gruesome stories, the Stapler family has steadfastly denied any truth to these claims, insisting they are nothing more than the fevered imaginings of small-town gossip. Yet, each denial seems to only add fuel to the fire, leaving the community to wonder what truly lies beneath the surface of the Stapler house, a resting place for the living or a graveyard for the dead. 6 children have become unwitting participants in an investigation into these very rumors, seeking answers to questions even they are afraid to ask. A motley assortment of anomalies, they stand in the entrance hall, unsure how they got here. They are themselves strangers here, though one among them calls this place home, albeit reluctantly. They say home is where the heart is, but just whose heart are they referring to? Welcome to the Ghosts Stapler House. Unsure
Yay!
how you got here, you all find yourself in the entrance hall of the Stapler house. I do believe buried somewhere in the Discord docs channel is a map. I'm realizing I forgot to grab it. As you...
Do you need that? Would you like that?
I'm gonna pull up a copy for myself, but if you're able to find it and you can like repost it in there so you all can reference it, that would be great.
Of course.
My scattered brain was keeping me from prepping that ahead of time. Let's see.
Nico, you are an excellent scribe.
Stapler house.
Hell yeah.
Do you have it? Because if you don't, I have it.
Oh, I do. I do.
Okay. Perfect.
Do you want me to drop it into the Welcome to Paradise?
Yeah, sure. There's no reason that others shouldn't be able to see this as well. You all are on the first floor in the vestibule, or sorry, in the entrance hall, just past the vestibule. That would be in the southwest corner.
Nice. Southwest. That's down and left.
Yep. So, finding yourself here, mysteriously, unsure just how you got here. What would you all like to do?
Whatever we do, I feel like we shouldn't split up. Or maybe we should. I don't know. I don't know what's normal about this.
Do we know information about the narrative you just read? Or are we just mysteriously left lunch and found ourselves in an unknown house?
Well, you saw the glitches happening, and you know enough to suspect that you are currently in the same way that you just started over back at day 1 of Paradise Academy. Everything glitched, and you now find yourself in Stapler House. You don't know what iteration. You don't know if it's a new iteration. But you know some You know what? Because there is a canonical meta nature, as you were all sort of arriving, if you will, to the entrance hall, I'm going to say you heard the narration.
Ooh. Ooh.
Now,
Well,
maybe
Billy,
I'm not
I would... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, maybe I'm misunderstanding. Billy lives here, right?
Is it the same house that Billy lives in, or is
That's
it
what I
more
was
like
wondering.
the house from the first iteration?
I will say again what you just heard. They are themselves strangers here, though one among them calls this place home, albeit reluctantly.
Gotcha.
Well, Billy, do you have a rec room or something? I mean, this place is great and everything, but like, a
You've all
rec
been
room
to the
would Really
basement.
hit the spot.
No, Laz and Rosie had not.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Sorry, Rosie's hair on her arms is standing up, and she's not quite sure why.
Also, you can hear the sound of a clock chiming. It's one of those where it plays a part of a tune every quarter hour. But you hear suddenly this sort of heavy mechanical movement of hands, and then you just hear tick, tick, tick. And I will tell you that just over 2 minutes ago, I started a timer.
Oh God. Okay. Hey, Billy.
Rec room's downstairs, but like I'm still like Billy is like looking around, suspicious. Like not at you guys, but like the place and like taking everything in. And he at first goes to the front door. Is it locked?
So you're standing in the entrance hall. You would have to open the door, the double doors to the vestibule. And
Yeah.
then, so you're going to go into the vestibule and open the front door?
Yes.
Yeah, it opens.
What does outside look like? Does it look normal?
You can see down the stairs. You can see into that sort of front drive area that approaches and kind of has one side goes alongside the house. There's a little bit of a roundabout for guests. You can see, just make out the front gate. But beyond that, everything is murky with fog.
What time is it?
Night.
What time does it say on the clock? Just night.
You don't see a clock.
It is night time.
You heard a
Oh.
clock,
Hear a clock,
but you
you
don't
don't
see a clock.
Oh, okay. Rosie gets the vibe that we're here for a slumber party, so she assumes that's what it is, and she doesn't want to embarrass herself by mentioning it. So she's just like, rec
So
room.
I point out towards the fog. I don't like the look of that.
I would like everybody to make a brains check, please.
Oh boy.
Jake said that this was going to be an investigative game, so I got
Ooh.
my D4 ready.
Eh.
I exploded
Yay!
Lucky break.
for a 5.
So my dice apparently know that Oak's not here yet because Oak usually crushes me on brains checks. I rolled an 18.
The others are not doing well.
We're all just happy to be here.
Coop's
honestly.
looking around to see
So-
if there are snacks.
Wow, what a nice
just
house.
sitting out.
So first
Yeah.
off,
Do we have any Doritos?
I would like Rosie and Jessica to roll me D100s.
Oh, great.
What did Coop get on that? You said you
5.
exploded. Okay, you got the 5. There it is. And you got a 12.
Holy
So-
nutsack! I did better than Carrie and him.
So Laz and
Enjoy this feeling.
Laz and Billy, you both are able to. You get the sense, looking around, that this house, the Stapler house, is closer in state to the way it was the first time you were here. Before it was Billy's home. When you were here as the first iteration began to fall apart where Laz killed Persephone, where Jessica caused Coop to lose a hand. So, with a roll of a 92 for Jessica and a 67 for Rosie, I'm trying to see. Oh, no, it's not that table. I have 2 tables I will be using tonight. One of them is a haunting table. Jessica. You, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, you have rolled one of the I forget what they're called now, but it's a semi-permanent effect.
Oh no.
Extreme trauma response.
Oh God.
One character, Jessica, has developed a severe psychological effect to being in this house. I will allow you to determine what it is that is unsettling Jessica, but you will have, for the remainder of the time that you are here, you will have a permanent mental consequence.
I gotta throw out just like the trauma of injuring Coop has got to be it.
Oh, Jessica stubbed her toe when she was here, and that was really bad. So
The vibes are super off here. Like
Low-key? Off.
immensely. High key, I think in this case. Yeah, no, I think definitely that's a good call. I think that her tearing off Coop's arm, she gets flashbacks to that moment where she was trying to help Coop and things went wrong. And so I imagine she almost like she does distance herself from Coop, and she's also going to just like kind of keep her hands like almost close to her body as possible.
I imagine it's like we see, as you have this flashback, we see the camera rapidly and tilting with those very jarring angles, moving through the house, up the stairs, and towards that very door. And as there's that quick memory, we see as you and Coop phase through the door, and then we see that hand just hang there for a moment, and then as it thuds to the floor, you hear from where you are now in the entrance hall, you hear further in the house that heavy thud sound. Rosie, you are extremely cold very suddenly. You shiver uncontrollably. And then almost immediately, you begin to get uncomfortably warm. But you can't stop shivering.
Shit, Billy. This place have any air conditioning? I mean, you're rich and everything. It's hotter than hell in here.
Feels fine to me.
Are you having a hot flash?
Fucking Coop, I think I got a couple more years until hot flashes, man.
Were we just in the cafeteria?
Yeah,
We had the whole day, and then we came here, I think.
I don't remember the rest of my day.
Neither do I. Oh, okay. This is some more fucked up shit. This is some more fucked up shit, and I'm leaving. I don't care if it's foggy. I'm going away. I'm leaving. I am leaving the fucking house, and I am walking off the porch, and I'm like,
you walk
walking
through
home.
the front door, and you immediately are standing facing towards your friends as you walk through the door and are right back in the vestibule.
What does that look like for us? Because like I'm not I'm not gonna reach out and try and stop Rosie. Like, I don't want to physically bar her path, but I'm gonna try and like put out my hand, like to like, no, you don't want to go out there.
I would like, actually, Billy, since you were standing right there, I would like you to make a grit check, please, because it is very disorienting. It is very physically and psychologically jarring, and might cause you to faint, lose your lunch.
All right, I got a 7.
It doesn't. You do feel your stomach lurch like on a roller coaster when you take that sudden drop. It's very jarring as you see Rosie step forward. You don't see her just step forward and immediately flip around. It's as if your entire vision sort of warps and flips and inverts, and for a moment you see things from a different perspective, and they sort of snap back into your own view.
So does it cause my body to turn around and to?
Doesn't cause you to turn around. It just, that's the visual representation of Rosie passing through and sort of warping back into this place.
Okay. Hate this. Hate all of this.
Rosie, as you turn around and end up in the vestibule, I would like for you and Billy to... I would like for you to make me... Hold on, I gotta change the size of this font so I can see better. I would like you to make a brains check. So, what I'm going to tell you here, since there are... I don't want you to stand around for the next 20 minutes figuring out what the hell you're supposed to do. You are going to be focusing on brains checks, primarily to make investigative checks to try to decipher things, piece together things that are out of the ordinary. You may find yourself using charm for interacting with aspects of the house. And you will be making frequent grit checks to resist the effects of the house. There will be more mechanics to come. That is a what we call a critical failure, Rosie. And I'm going to need a D100. Billy, I need a grit check from you as well.
You said brains, right?
Or,
Brains.
did I say brains?
You did.
You said brains. Because I rolled a 17.
Okay.
Can I? Okay.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
I'm confusing myself. It's better for you, Rosie, that you critically failing a brains check is fine. You just don't see it. But excuse me, Billy, as you two turn around and look back towards the entrance hall, you see the bloody handprint on the frame of the door that's facing towards the exit of the double doors for the vestibule.
So
it's four fingers of a hand about midway up the door.
All right, so when Rosie steps through the door, vanishes, I get that sinking feeling in my stomach, and she reappears behind me.
She does no.
Close the door.
She doesn't vanish, and she doesn't reappear. She's walking away from you, and then suddenly she's walking towards you.
Okay, my apologies.
Okay, I just want to make...
After she's back in the vestibule, and there's that, weird feeling in my stomach, I reach over, I close the doors, turn around towards the group, and say, let's not do that again.
And that's when you see the bloody handprint.
We got to figure out what's going on here. Y'all heard that voice, right? Before we appeared? There's some kind of thing to figure out. I'll point towards the bloody hand. I don't really like this place. Never really felt like this is home, just like that freaky voice. And I'll kind of like talk up to the ceiling
That kind of sounded like Coop's mom's boyfriend.
Or the
A
bus
little
driver.
bit, yeah.
Speaking of, well, not speaking of that. Sorry, the fact that you rolled so high on your brains check, I'm also going to give you this. You would notice that Oak is not with you right now. Oak is missing.
Jesus. Oh God.
Where the frick is Oak?
I don't
Maybe.
know.
You
We all
hear
appeared in different spots. Maybe he's in a different room.
Coop.
Well, the last time we kind of were pulled here together was after the night on the beach. I was in another room.
Where
Does
did you
anyone remember-
appear?
Does anyone remember what room that was?
Yep. Tub full of blood. Wasn't there a tub full of blood? Blood tub?
There was indeed.
I don't remember because that was a long time ago.
I seem to remember blood tub.
You witnessed your own traumatic birth.
Oh God.
That was upstairs
Oh,
later.
wasn't
That
it?
wasn't when he first got here.
I thought that was Oak who experienced his own birth.
Many
Oak
of you saw
experienced his birth.
you
As did you.
you saw yourself being born in the bathtub on the first floor in a tub
You
full
did
of.
see that. I remember that.
I think I've blacked that out for that very
This
reason.
was horrible. So Rosie goes, well, I mean, first priority is to find Oak, right?
If he's
Right?
here. Yeah. Oak kind of like calls out, and he'll start wandering like in towards like the grand hall area. To the
You
east.
hear the sound of a door creaking somewhere in the house, and then you hear footsteps receding deeper into the house.
Hey,
Can we-
Oak!
Can we orient on that direction?
It's hard to tell exactly where they came from. You can attempt a brains check, but I'll tell you right now it is an extremely high DC.
Not a shot.
Meanwhile, Laz is reorienting or is moving further in and heading into the grand hall.
I'm going with
Alright.
Laz.
Laz.
13.
Yeah, you're not entirely sure. It could have been upstairs, but it could have been towards the back of the house where the kitchen is. It's really difficult to tell.
For the sake of saving time, since we all said earlier we should all stick together, can we just assume that we're all sticking together unless somebody says otherwise?
Good idea.
So you move into
Thank
the
you,
grand hall. Of course, in the grand hall, you have the stairs that are leading up. There's a fancy banister with a big wooden carving and brass handrails. To the right of the stairs is a door to a closet. You can see that the stairs lead up to a landing that then curves around and heads upstairs. To the east, to the right, is the library that you may remember from some of your first time here. And to the south is the parlor, which is a very fancy sitting room, sometimes referred to as the yellow room because of the yellow curtains and yellow furniture. I would like somebody to make a brains check. I would like somebody to make a charm check.
I'm not brainy or charming at all. I call no go on either one of those.
I rolled brains, and my dice have been steadily going down, and they've got pretty low. So as we are looking in all these directions, my thoughts get focused on the library and question like what in there is different from the house that we've seen before, or the house that I'm currently living in. So I'm focused in that direction, which is why I rolled a 2 and don't notice whatever it is that is going on.
Yeah. Was anybody else rolling brains, or was that just you that rolled that?
I thought it was one of each.
Okay, that's
I do
fine.
not want
nope,
to.
That is fine. And Jess got a 15 charm.
Job.
Jessica, you actually see, to you, a familiar figure. Because the last time, or rather the first time you were in Stapler House, you kept seeing an older woman. You couldn't quite see her face. Her hair was hanging down, covering her face. You see, standing in the hallway to the north, that same figure. She walks forward cautiously.
Like towards us?
Looking at you. In fact, as she's walking, she walks past where Billy is sort of looking into the library, not really paying attention. And she moves partway through the space he occupies. You see her pass through him as she approaches you. The woman looks to be somewhere in her 40s or 50s. It's hard to tell. She has a look that is very similar to Darla Stapler, but different. And she walks right up to you, Jessica. And she reaches out very hesitantly, but she reaches out to try and take your hand.
Oh man, I think this further triggers Jess's like fear that's been building and kind of resurfacing for her, and seeing this woman again, kind of like Jess kind of re-sees the events as well of what happened when they were here last, and so I think Jess is going to be so hesitant about reaching back out. I think she's actually looking to the others. She's not going to say anything, but she's looking to the others to see if they see her.
Anybody looking at Jess, you see Jess kind of staring straight ahead, but you don't see anybody there.
Jess.
As you're saying that, Rosie, you're seeing like Jess like kind of reach out her hand or begin like reaching out, and as soon as you say that, you kind of snap her as she looks to you, Rosie, and do you see her? Please tell me you see her.
I see her.
Great.
And you could tell that Rosie is 100% lying.
Rosie, Rosie, I need you to.
Just want to make you feel better.
I need you to make a charm check.
Oh Christ! Okay.
As Jess, as you divert your attention momentarily to Rosie, the spirit reaches out and takes your hand.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And you momentarily feel that sense of fear and dread since you stepped in this house subside. The spirit has a calming effect on you. And as soon as she touches your hand, you feel it go from this sort of cold, I don't know how to describe it, almost like a sponginess, like hard to, there's no firmness to this touch. There's suddenly
moist.
I was avoiding that word so hard.
Sorry. I couldn't resist.
That suddenly there's almost a solidity and a warmth to it, and it's in that moment that she says, "Please help them. They are all trapped here.
Yeah, you would hear Jessica say out loud as she's like, when the woman gripped her hand, like, and she feels this warmth and comfort, you see Jessica like grip onto the hand even tighter now, and Jessica says, "Save who? Who's trapped here?"
So many. And then she turns in response to Rosie saying that she could see her. Yeah, I see her. I need a D100 from you, Rosie. Because a 4 is not going to cut it.
I was trying to be nice. I was just trying to be nice. 50 on the nut. In the middle of that curve.
From where you are standing, there are you're near one of the walls, Rosie, and you see Jessica, this ghost woman's gaze sort of just briefly flick over your shoulder above Rosie's head, and one of the large portraits on the wall falls, and it hits you in the shoulder, Rosie, hard, knocking you to the ground.
Immediately, Jessica like runs over.
As you run to her, and Jess, Rosie, you're down on your kind of on one knee, broken glass, broken frame around you. There's this old portrait that is sitting at your feet, and you see a man in his 50s, a similar looking man who seems to be roughly your age, and a woman who she seems to be with she has that look of like somebody who's content with her family, but you can see a deep sadness in her eyes that you recognize, Jessica. The woman in the photograph is the spirit that you see standing before you.
God damn it. And Rosie's like looking, she's got like broken glass like all over the place, and she's like looking to see if she's like bleeding anywhere. Yeah, she's just kind of like trying to get up without getting cut like any worse than she is. She's probably cut a little bit.
Yeah, you've definitely
Jessica?
got some cuts.
God damn. Fuck. Billy, your fucking house is trying to kill us.
Those are the words that you hear, Oak. From the darkness.
Welcome.
Those are the words you hear from the darkness as you mysteriously find yourself no longer in Paradise Academy. But at first, you feel like somebody shoved you in a locker. You're in a close, dark space. And you hear the muffled voice of Rosie from the other side.
Hello?
You hear Oak's voice coming from the closet next to the stairs.
Laz will go over to it and
The
like
safe
open the door.
closet?
We'll see just how safe it is.
Rosie gets to her feet and kind of tries to kick this glass off up against the wall.
So Billy, as Rosie kind of cries out, like Billy shakes his head, looks back to the library one last time, and then is like a step or two behind whoever goes to the closet to, help Oak out.
So as the door opens, our first 30-minute timer has just expired.
Oh, Christ.
As the door opens, I would like you all to roll a D100. And then I will be rolling a D100.
Oh.
So we've got a 14, 71, a 45, a 35, an 86, and a 98.
We almost went like right in order.
I have rolled a 31. It just rolled over, which means Billy is the closest to the number that I rolled. Billy, please roll me a D20.
What's happening? I like the mechanics. Fun new stuff.
That's my favorite number, 11.
Hey.
Sorry, what was that, 7?
11.
11. We'll see how much you like these mechanics in a moment. You open the door, Billy, to the closet. I would like you to tell me what it is that you see when you open the closet that is the thing that would break Billy. What horrific scene? And I'll tell you how badly it breaks Billy when you tell me what the traumatic thing you just saw is.
I think right now, I mean, it's still fairly fresh of Anne's disappearance, so I would probably be her dead body.
Jesus Christ. Way to go, Ted.
It's not just her dead body.
Yeah, I figured you would take license to make it more horrific.
It's not just her dead body. It's most of her dead body. And in particular, it is Anne's head that is sitting on top of the safe. I'm going to say that again just because M just put their headphones in. It is Anne's head that you see sitting on top of the safe behind Oak. Behind it, as if just shoved there unceremoniously, is one of her arms and one of her legs. You all see Billy's eyes go wide.
Can I go one step further?
You can take it one step further.
Jesus.
All right. So to make it more horrific, given where it is, like there's got to be like claw marks across all the limbs and face.
Oh yeah, they don't look
gone
like
by aware.
They were not cut. This looks like Anne was torn limb from limb. Oh. You all see Billy's eyes go wide.
No, it's more than that. Like he drops to his knees.
No, you don't just drop to your knees. Trust me, it's going to be so much worse.
This is like the fucking grief Olympics.
It's going to be so much worse because his eyes go wide, and Billy falls backwards and hits the ground. Eyes wide open, staring straight ahead. Billy Stapler is dead at your feet. Billy.
Good night, everybody.
You
see you, Ted.
Come back. Billy, you watch. You hear the thump on the ground behind you. And instinctively you turn and you see your body fall to the ground. And glancing back, you see Oak standing there in the closet next to the safe, and there's no sign of Anne. But you, Billy Stapler, are now a ghost. And you have new abilities.
Ooh.
While everybody else is investigating and trying to interact with spirits, you have the ability to attempt to pass through walls and objects. You can use something called ectovision and attempt to see past events within a room. Or you can attempt to use spectral influence, either using what's called a chill touch, not the D&D chill touch, which allows you to leave a freezing message for somebody, or spirit speak, allowing you to whisper short messages to your friends. These all require checks, but basically you can attempt to pass through objects, attempt to perceive the events of the past, or you can attempt to communicate with your friends. But you have new ways of looking into what's happening here in the house. And I'll allow you to elaborate on that at times. In the meantime, I would like your friends, including poor Oak, who was just rescued from inside the closet of the Stapler house.
Hey!
You just saw your friend Billy look at you in horror and then fall dead at your feet. So I'll give you all a moment to process what just happened.
Jesus Christ. Fucking Oak just killed
hell?
Billy.
Billy, you okay? Laz like drops down next to him and like slaps him on the cheek. Hey.
I swear, he just opened the door and then I like look back and then I'm assuming that I see whatever. Do I see the horror show that Billy saw, or is it like just
there.
random accoutrement of?
There's
there.
There's like the there's like a trophy head of a deer, and
Yeah.
there's a couple of mannequin arms on top of the safe.
I don't know what. He opened the door and then he just dropped dead.
He's not moving. I don't think he's breathing.
Oh, God. Oh, Jess, your mom's a nurse, right? Do you know, like, CPR or something?
Jess like looks down. I don't think that CPR helps like actually dead people. She like kneels down. She's gonna like touch Billy, like he's like, I don't know, body's like the is it like lifeless and
It's strangely far more accelerated than it should be.
Oh, God, it's like... Ugh.
The color is gone from Billy's face, and it's like rigor mortis has set in already. He's completely stiff and cold to the touch.
Oh my God, people are gonna think we did this. People are gonna fucking think we murdered the richest kid in school. We're fucked.
In his own house.
In his house.
I would not.
Okay. Okay.
Listen,
I don't like this. We not do
listen.
it.
There's something here. Something just isn't right, obviously. But I saw there. Jessica's gonna look around. Does she still see that ghost lady?
As you look around for her, she is walking down the hall that you first saw her, that hallway to the north. She's walking away from you.
All right. Very quickly, there's this ghost lady who grabbed me, and I think that she's super nice because she was warm to the touch and made all of my anxiety go away. And she said that we have to help the people here. That there's a bunch of people here that we have to help them. And I think that maybe it has something to do with Billy.
And you still see her?
Yeah, she's walking down the hall, and Jessica's pointing to the lady.
So, just to kind of get into this scene a moment, it's clear that they don't have any ability to see me as a ghost, right?
They're all looking at the dead you on the floor, and you're standing right in the midst of them.
All right.
I will also say that to you, everybody looks like like really desaturated. Only bright colors like reds and other bright colors have any sort of color, but everything else is super almost black and white to you.
So Laz comes over and tries to like stir me. Rosie is panicked that people are gonna think that you guys killed me. Oak seems like stunned and is afraid to approach the body. Jessica is nervous about approaching the body. What is Coop doing?
Thanks for asking. Coop is going to very bravely step forward and say, "I saw something on an episode of St. Elsewhere when boyfriend Jake was watching. Move out of the way." And he's gonna go up to Billy's lifeless body and smash him on the chest with his fist and go, "Live, damn it!"
You've never given up on anything in your whole life.
I would like you.
What a stud, dude! That is awesome.
I want you to make a charm check.
Dude,
Charm
well,
is harder
okay.
than beating again.
That would be hilarious.
the power of friendship.
The power of heart, literally. So that is going to be, I do have a +1 on that. That's 15.
That's really good. As you
My D20, man.
as you run in there and you yell that and you pound on his chest. For a moment, Billy, you feel in your own chest this you feel this hit. And at the moment you hit, you see like a strobe light go off. You see Ghost Billy standing in front of you.
Oh.
Well, I didn't, because I was hitting.
No, you see it.
Did you see that?
See what?
I would say, actually, because Coop rolled so high, all of you would see for a moment. It's kind of like in Fight Club when Tyler Durden flashes for a split second on screen. Billy's just there for like one frame and then gone.
Oh my god.
Should I hit him again?
Yes!
Maybe somebody should who's stronger than me.
I will. And Rosie like smiles a little bit and
Go ahead and make a grit check.
Rosie goes like full Super Saiyan and goes like boom. Grit, you said?
Yep.
Can do. Here we go. I got a 13. Boom.
Same thing. Billy, you feel the hit. And for a second, Billy flashes standing in front of you. Or in your midst.
You know, I had a TV that was like this once. Whenever it got weird, we just hit it on the side and it started to work again. I don't think we should just like keep hitting Billy though.
So, okay, well, what do we do? Like, do we follow the lady that Jess says she sees, or
Tick tock, tick.
I guess.
leave Billy here?
I mean, I think we should take him with us, and then if we have any questions, we can just hit him on the chest a couple of times and make him flash in, and he can help. But I don't know how any of this shit works, so I don't know.
Well, Jess, maybe you can follow after your friend and let us know where we need to go. And I guess Laz kind of looks at Billy's body. I guess I gotta figure out how to carry him. He's gonna like try to peel him up off the floor.
So, one, I'm just realizing you guys haven't been hearing me. About every 10 minutes, I've been going tick tock, but I've been whispering it. Also, in answer to your question, Oak, you don't know how you got here. You were on your way to fourth period, and you just suddenly were shoved in this closet. And Laz, as you go down to try to pick up Billy, I would like you
No.
to make a grit check.
All right. That's a 2.
Roll me a D100, please.
That is a 47.
Let's see. 47. You reach down to start to pick up Billy, and you hear muffled voices calling out, "Help us! Help! Help! Help!" And they sound like they're coming from through the floor, below the floorboards, like down in the basement or something. You can hear people muffled, "Help us! Help!" And then the floorboards under Billy, and you all see this go, "Help us!" Billy's body lurching a little bit. Suddenly, and a shadowy hand reaches up and wraps around Billy, and then another, until another and another and another, and they all wrap around Billy's body, and you watch as they're squeezing his body so tightly you can hear bones breaking, and then through the floor like a shadow, Billy vanishes.
Lab does that like crab walk backwards, like on his hands and his feet. What the fuck? Okay.
So I guess we're not taking him with us.
Those voices were saying to help them. Jess, you were saying that the old lady was saying that we needed to help someone here, right?
Yeah, there's like lots of people here who need help.
Oh, it looks like they're under the fucking floor. So maybe they're in the basement?
So if we help them, maybe we won't end up in the floor. Okay, I would really like to just go back to 5th period, or even make it to 6th. I don't. Okay. Calm down, Oak. Just take stock of things. Figure it out. Okay. Trying not to hyperventilate. I think Oak is going to start trying to follow Jessie's like position wherever she goes. Like if she's following that the ghost that she can see, then he will follow in her stead, being like, if that ghost seems kind and seems like a good thing, I'll follow that, because hopefully it won't lead to a booby trap or whatever just happened to Billy.
So the best plan we got is to go into the basement of a just haunted ass house.
Well, we're gonna follow the creepy ass ghost lady first.
Okay, let's do that then.
Laz looks for a fireplace, and he wants to grab another item.
Poker, just in case. You never know when you might need a fire poker.
So
it worked really well last time. So
if you
does
look,
Rosie miraculously have her bat, perchance?
you would have any of the stuff you normally would have with you.
Sick. I do have my bat. Great.
Laz, you see that in the sitting room, that dark rectangle, those are fireplaces. So
yeah, perfect.
Yeah, you're able to sort of, from in the grand hall, you can see through those doors, and it's just kind of like your POV just goes shh, and it just does a quick crash zoom in on fireplace poker, and then we see
Very
from
Sam
the POV
Raimi
of the
cut.
fireplace poker as you come running up to it and grab it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a very Raimi, like my hand grabs it and the whole camera pivots as I pick it up.
How dark is it in this house right now?
Very.
It's
Very okay.
It's there's shadows everywhere, but it's kind of like that 1980s eerie blue light, even though there's no moon that seems to come in through all the windows.
Got it.
And
Oak is still gonna be fumbling for his like flashlight he usually carries on him, and then like he'll have it up and move it around in step with all the biggins, and I think he's gonna try to huddle in closer to Coop, so like the two littles are together and then kind of like triangled around by all the bigs as we move through the house.
What direction? I swear somebody said that they were going somewhere. Were you following the lady,
I think we...
Yep.
Okay. So you guys are kind of starting to make your way forward up the hallway. And as the group begins to move forward, Billy, you hear an extra person, I guess. From the direct...
Do I see the ghost that they're following now that I'm a ghost?
Not at the moment because she went further down that hall, but you see a different ghost. As an extra person shambles into the room, you see a man who is walking on crutches. He is missing most of his left leg. And he looks like he hasn't shaved in a couple days. And he has on these sort of, well, in this lighting and the way things look, they appear to be a very light gray, almost like pajamas and a robe. As he hobbles forward on his crutches and he just kind of looks up at you and goes, "Hey, there's a good chance that there's going to be food in the kitchen."
What's going on here?
Ah, you're new here, huh?
Yes.
Well, did you die here?
Just recently, in fact.
I hope you like this place. You better get used to it.
I don't, in fact.
I've lost track exactly, but it's been close to 70 years since I died.
You've been stuck in this place for 70 years?
Yeah. It sucks.
He gets like... So, my ghost shoulders slump at the thought of being stuck in this house for 70 years. That's not gonna happen to me. How do we get out?
You look familiar.
I'm a stapler.
Ah. Must be a picture of you around here somewhere. That explains it. Anyway, there's supposed to be food in the kitchen. He kind of motions down the hall where everybody else is heading. The hall that leads to the kitchen. If we're lucky, we can get some food. It's not very often we can actually interact with the food. It's worth a shot.
Is there a way to be set free from this place?
Supposedly, some of the spirits say there's a way that, well, if you can figure out a way, if somebody can figure out what's holding us here.
What's in the basement?
What is it in the basement? Listen, you said you just recently died? I'd suggest staying out of the basement if I were you. Unless you think you can handle it. Being a stapler and all, I mean, I wouldn't want to tell you how to be in your own house.
Yeah. I really don't like this house. I don't like being trapped here either, so...
I wish I could tell you it gets better, but it doesn't.
Well, maybe there's something I can do about it. Maybe not. I don't make any promises. And I'll
I don't take much stock in the promises of ghosts anyway.
I'll look in the direction of, where he says there's, food in the kitchen. I'll look in the direction of the body that was just pulled through the floor. Give a sigh and then float after You know, those that didn't really look like they were mourning my death.
As the others make your way down the hall, following where you saw the specter go with Jess leading, you enter into the kitchen. Upon entering this new room, I would like somebody to make a brains check. I would like somebody to make a charms check. And I would like somebody to make a grit check.
I will do the grit. I would like to nominate Jessica for charm and maybe Oak for brains. Question mark? I'll do grit.
Tick tock.
Oh God. Fuck. That was almost really good. No, it's not. Sorry, guys. God damn it. For the record, mine just went like whoa, whoa, whoa on a 16 and became a 6. Sorry, team.
Okay, so we got a 16 brains, a 6 grit, and a 19 charm. So, Oak, as you all walk into the room, you see in this kitchen, there's sort of a large part of the kitchen is taken up by a large preparation island. Over in the northwest corner, there's like a breakfast nook. There's stairs in a door to a stairway in the northeast corner. The serving pantry to the southwest. You see what looks like a massacre happened in this room, Oak. There are arcs of blood spraying across the walls and windows, staining the curtains. You see pots and pans in disarray, some on the floor. You see a large pool of blood on a big part of the countertop of the preparation island. You see one of those blocks, those knife blocks, has a bunch of knives in it. It's knocked over. Knives are spread across the top of it. Some of them are lying on the floor. You see big pools of blood coming on the floor from around the side of the island that you can't see.
Guys, we lost. Like at this point, little man is crying. Little man is full on trauma. He just lost a friend. Legitimately doesn't know how to get Billy back. Can't get the trauma of watching Billy's body literally ragdoll in front of him, and then get sucked into the floor, and then immediately go into the next room. Bloodbath. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Jessica. He's like clicking his heel like Wizard of Oz in the middle of the room trying to figure out what the hell to do.
Jessica, you see the ghost woman. She walks through the blood, but leaves no footprints. She walks to the side where she can see what is laying on the floor. And she looks down and she just brings her hands to her mouth like this, like somebody who has just seen something horrific, and just covering her mouth as if to stifle a scream. Unfortunately, Rosie failed her grit check, so I'm going to need a D100 roll from you. You are going to be subjected to a haunting effect.
Okay.
62.
Reroll, please. That one's already rolled.
88. Best year on record.
88 is also very fitting with two of the costumes tonight. 88 miles per hour.
Oh, hey, yay! Yes, you're right.
You have also rolled one of the semi-permanent states called emotional instability. You are now prone to sudden emotional outbursts due to the haunting influence you will have a permanent, for the duration of what's happening, you will have a permanent mental consequence.
Okay.
What is this emotional outburst that happens when you see this horrific scene laid out before you? And then you, Jessica, you see the woman like she's stifling a scream. And then she goes like this, and you see her pull part of her face down, and her jaw opens impossibly wide. And only Rosie hears the blood-curdling scream that suddenly fills the room.
Oh my god. Rosie like covers her ears and like doesn't fall down to her knees, but like almost does, and doesn't want it. Does Rosie sees the blood too, or
Yeah, you all see the
massacre.
The blood.
Okay.
It was Oak that Oak basically allowed you all to see this by his uncovering the investigation.
You say there's knives strewn about.
Yep.
Rosie fucking grabs one. And she's like, this is bullshit! And she just like is like looking around and is just enraged like immediately. And she's like, there's a murderer in here somewhere, and there's 5 of us and one of him. We gotta go find him. We gotta fucking kill him.
Where do we find him?
I don't know. We're gonna look all over the house.
How do you know it's just one guy?
So, as a spirit, as a spirit, I've got the ability to read a room. I can attempt to, Jake.
You can
be able to tell that Rosie is upset.
You can attempt something called ectovision, which will allow you to glimpse past events.
Can I try that here?
Yeah. Yes, you can. That is going to be a brains check.
Oh shit! How do you feel about a 36?
Oh my god! So brainy.
So that is enough, and with this vision of the past,
I hope it's enough.
And that is enough for you to see. You all are actually you are in the middle of a key room and a key event. Also, the timer just went off. So I'm going to have everybody roll a D100, and then I'm going to. Except for Billy, the remaining living people need to roll D100s. But I'm going to tell you what happens, but I want to know this number as well, because I'm going to end with this. Oh, I just realized Coop is not at the table. So I'm going to... Okay, here we go. What you got, Coop? Okay, I've got your 5 numbers. I'm going to roll my D100. 50. It looks like Jessica is closest to the 50. So... this is what happens, and this is weird because as Billy uses this ability, almost instinctively, Billy, you tap into the echoes of the past. All of you see a shimmer in the room around you. The blood and the chaos and the dead body fade away, and it's as if time is rapidly rewinding. You even see a calendar changing on the wall until you see that it is August 1955. Suddenly, the back door of the house, the entrance into the kitchen, comes slamming open. It whips open hard enough that it hits part of the wall and kind of vibrates off of it. A teenage 16-year-old Darla Stapler comes running into the room, breathing heavily, tears streaming down her face as she rushes into the room. And the first thing she does is she just screams. She stops in the middle of the room, screams at the top of her lungs, and then she grabs the nearest thing, which is a cast iron pot hanging above the island, and she uses it to smash against other pots and pans. She's just bashing things around this room. We hear rushed footsteps coming from down the hall, and an older man comes running in, and it's somebody that you've seen as a younger man in the first iteration in a time jump in the Stapler house. This is J. Harrison Stapler. As soon as he comes running into the room, Darla dear, calm down. What is it? What's got you so worked up? She just screams, and he says, come on now. Get control of yourself. You know when you get like this, you can't control your rage. And, he looks at her like he's trying to approach her to comfort her, and she's kind of pacing around the room, and she's knocking stuff over, and she's kind of incoherently mumbling stuff, and you just get out, you hear, Barn, they're all dead. She killed them all. Who does she think she is? And Stapler looks at her and he says, Who are you talking about? And she says, that new girl in town, Ashley Raven. And you see something flicker across his face. A flicker of recognition. And with a more stern sound to his voice, he says, you need to get control of yourself now. The Raven girl is untouchable. You notice that this vision, in the same way that the iterations felt like it was starting to glitch, you see these little wisps of blue around the edges. This echo of the past is starting to break apart. You don't hear everything that the two of them are saying, but you hear Darla screaming at Jay, and you hear his repeated admonishments. Hands off. Untouchable. And all you see is the anger rising in Darla. And at one point you see him approach her, and he puts his hand on her shoulders to physically restrain her. And in a blur of motion, she whips around. You see the yellow in her eyes. You see the fangs already coming from an elongated snout. And you see the claws that slash through the air, spraying a gout of blood across the wall and the curtains. Geyser of blood spraying across the island. As in one swoop, Darla Stapler rips out his throat.
Oh my god.
Now, is that her father or her grandfather?
So, in this moment,
Both.
with this echo to the past, this is a new piece of information that you are gaining and that all of you are realizing. J. Harrison Stapler is Darla Stapler's grandfather. Which has implications for what you think you know about the lineage of the Staplers.
That would be my great-great-grandfather then?
Yes. But that's not what you had been told previously. You have been told your whole life that J. Harrison Stapler was your grandfather. Was Darla Stapler's father.
Wow.
The last thing you see before this vision fades is a woman who you don't recognize, and it's not, while similar in appearance, it is not the woman that Jessica was seeing as a ghost. You see a different woman come rushing down the stairs. She looks to be about 30 years old. As soon as she comes into the room, she takes a moment to take in the scene. She says, "What? What have you done?" Darla doesn't answer her. The woman says again, "What have you done?" She's not talking to Darla. She's looking at all of you. And she looks specifically at Jessica. "What did you do?" Jessica, I need you to roll me a d20, please.
Oh my god. Oh no.
12.
That's probably fine. That's enough, like for sure.
Jessica, this woman steps forward. She's all the way across the room from you. She takes one step and is instantly in front of you. This time she doesn't yell. She looks you right in your eyes. "What did you do?" And you feel the blood in your veins turning to ice. You feel it thickening. You feel your heart struggling to pump the blood through your veins. You see blackness at the edge of your vision creeping like vines. And the rest of you watch as from beneath Jessica's skin, every vein and vessel in her body turns black. And the last thing you hear, Jessica, is, "What did you do?" And Jessica falls dead to the kitchen floor.
Damn it.
And Jessica, you watch as your body falls to the floor. Everything now in shades of black and white. And looking off to the side, you see Billy standing just inside the kitchen with a soldier on crutches and one leg. Tick-tock.
Oh, fuck.
Well, welcome to death.
Ugh. Is that what I look like when I'm dead? Please, will someone close my mouth and my eyes?
So, all right. I want to see if I can use the other ability, and I want to put a message on the counter. with whatever that power is that allows us to send a message.
Chill touch. It's going to be
chill touch.
It's going to be a grit check.
All right. So I will say, Jessica would like you to close her mouth, please. That's a 9.
You reach out to the countertop and you basically are able to write in blood, freezing the blood partway. As you write this message out, the others of you, specifically Oak, you notice that the words "close her mouth" appear. Which, in the context of a haunted house, is kind of creepy in and of itself.
Thanks, Billy.
Okay.
Hell?
Guys, close. How was that gonna help? How was
You talking about?
And Oak will begin to walk up to Jess's body and close the mouth and the eyes to make sure. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Careful, just watch out for the floor.
Can Jessica also write on the table a thank you?
Yeah, roll a grit check.
After the fact.
Like a TH X. First text.
Yep.
Sorry, you said
It's a grit. It's a grit check, yeah.
Okay. All right. It's a 5.
As you crouch down to close her eyes and mouth, you see, looking up on the side of this island in the wood, you see 2 X's scratched into the wood. You watch them. What do those 2 X's mean? You don't know. It could be counting down there's 2 down.
10, 20.
Okay. Okay. We're not panicking. We are focusing on things. 2 of our friends are now dead.
You need to grab Jessica before she gets pulled into the floor.
Okay, but where are we putting her? On the countertop?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Here. I'll help.
Try to lift, but clearly not.
Rosie has her little knife, and she puts it in her back pocket, I guess, and helps.
Okay, so I would like both of you to make grit checks. Sorry, charm checks.
Oh. Oh, good.
Charm? You want me to charm?
I got a 1. I am so charming. I got a 1.
You want me to charm my way into?
Go ahead and roll a d20,
lifting?
Rosie.
Okay. God damn it! I'm gonna get sucked by the.
I'm bouncing back and forth between my haunted D100 and my D20 horrific haunted deaths tables.
So that's gonna be a 6 all up.
Go ahead and roll a D100, Chad.
Oh dear. Yeah.
My D20 was a 6.
That's a 68.
Did I say D20? It should have been a D100.
Yeah. You meant D100?
I did
okay,
mean
well
D100.
then. That's okay. Here I go. 39.
Okay, we got a 68 for Oak.
Boy.
And sorry, what did you get,
This was a movie.
Rosie?
These kids are getting killed off fast. 39.
39.
This movie would be like a half an hour long.
Rosie, as you reach down and try picking up Jessica, you feel as though many someones have their hands suddenly on your shoulders and they're preventing you from standing back up. You feel as though you are being pushed towards the floor. At the same moment, Oak, as you go to pick up the lifeless body of Jessica, it's no longer Jessica that you see dead on the floor in front of you. It's your sister.
Oh.
Your older sister.
Oh, dude, Oak is like trembling right now. No, Bree, I just got you back. Please, no. Jason.
Oh. And meanwhile, Rosie looks like she's being like forced down. Like she like is standing at first and then kind of like falls to one knee and then the other, and then it's like she's like getting pushed down.
Oak see anything of Rosie being pushed as this is happening?
Since the two of you are the closest,
like
you can now both see the hands that are reaching through the floor in the same way they did for Billy. And you can hear the voices crying out, "Help me, help us, help us." And as the hands begin to wrap around Jessica to pull her down, at least a handful of them stray away from Jessica's body as they start grasping at Rosie.
No!
Can I do something real quick? Just I want to push Oak. I want to push Oak away hard.
Yeah.
I'd like to just shove Oak right in his dumb little chest.
If you're gonna resist being pushed, Oak, then I just want a brawn versus brawn.
Listen, at this moment, yeah, I think he would instinctively try to push back, but knowing this situation, probably will lose. But we will see.
While they're rolling brawn versus brawn, Coop yells out, "No!"
Is this a snap decision?
Coop doesn't just
pretty
yell
much.
out, "No, I've got a thing."
Sorry, go ahead. You.
It's fine. Coop yells out, "No!" and reaches into his backpack, grabs a thermos, unscrews it, and just whoosh, douses it all over Rosie.
Oh.
He's still got 4 thermoses. I imagine he only has like 2 because they're thermoses. They're not small. But holy water.
Hell yeah.
Interesting. Okay. You throw it over Rosie. Like, are you dumping it over her head, or are you just like wildly splashing it at her?
Wildly splashing, because we don't really have a lot of time here, and what is it? And all Coop sees are hands grabbing at her.
Okay, first off, M, when you are looking down, your yellow eyelids look like yellow eyes staring straight into the camera.
Terrifying.
That just
Amazing.
I looked at you, and that just terrified me for a second.
Jake hasn't heard anything we've said over the last like 2 minutes.
That's incredible.
I just happened to look up, and I'm like, what did you put contacts in? It was wild. Wow, you just scared me during my own Halloween game.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
So I need a grit check from Jessica and Billy. The hands are going to immediately release Rosie.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you, Coop. Thank you.
What a throwback.
Oh, yes. Good pull.
So a 3 from Jess and an 11 from Billy are both failures.
Oh shit.
The DC has slowly been creeping up the further along we go. The holy water sprays out into the room, sort of just wildly shaking out of this thermos, and it's splattering onto Billy and Jessica, and it's like acid being poured onto you.
Sorry, my bad.
But the effect this has when it hits the spirits that are trying to grab at Rosie and the spirits that are trying to pull Jessica's body into the floor is that you see all of these shadowy hands wither, like as if just pouring acid on plant life or something, just, but it also begins to dissolve rapidly Jessica's body and the floor around it, and the entire house begins to tremble and shake as the floor starts to tilt inward, becoming like a sinkhole, and you all are starting to funnel into the hole through the floor.
Not again.
A lot of squeaky sneakers, right? Here we go again.
And this happens so fast. As it funnels downward, you all find yourself slipping and sliding. Even if you tried to grab hold of something, all of that blood that was spilled on the floor is making it impossible to grab hold of anything. And in an instant, you are all funneled down, and you drop about 15 feet onto cold, hard cement. Including the two ghosties.
Gravity still applies. That's fun.
You are in the dark basement of the Stapler house.
Rosie's just like laying on her back. She's like, oh my god. Ow.
Are you okay? I didn't think that was gonna work.
I can't believe
What
it
the
did.
hell
Thank
just
you.
happened?
Okay.
Coop's holding the empty, now empty Garfield thermos, and he goes, "Holy water! I've been carrying it around ever since we found out about the vampires."
Oh,
Well, that
great
was
call.
That was badass, Coop. That was badass. Thanks, man.
Oak, the body no longer looks like your sister.
Oh.
It's Jessica, though partially
Yeah.
dissolved with holy water acid.
Ooh.
He like sits up, and wipes the tears from his eyes, and then looks over and is just absolutely horrified, and then like crab walks backwards, like hits the scoots on his butt backwards. Okay, I just, you know what I would like to do, guys? Just gonna be honest here. Kind of with his eyes closed. I would just like to get maybe, I don't know, some candy, maybe some popcorn, watch a movie. Just do something nice. Just do something normal. I want to get out of this horror show. I want to get out of this horror show. I want to get out of this horror show.
Hey, oh, look.
Huh?
Like everything else that's happened so far, like it's somebody fucking with us.
Okay. Yeah, no,
Right?
look,
All we
I
gotta
get
do is
that,
just get
but,
through this.
But why?
What
I
do you
don't
mean
know.
get through it? 2 of us are dead already.
But maybe we won't be if we just manage to figure out what's going on here.
Did Rosie's knife make it through here with her?
It's like
There's-
falling through the floor, and it
There's
just
like half a dozen knives laying on the floor around you. You're lucky you didn't get impaled.
Rosie grabs a big knife. Just a big knife.
A big knife.
Yep.
Right.
That's a knife.
You-
That's a knife.
That's a
You can
knife.
either have one like the big giant chef's knife, or you can have the cleaver.
I want the big giant chef's knife. It's got a good point. Good
Like on the
stabbing,
cover of
stabby.
I think there's one on the cover of
Oh.
well, name your
There's one on the
horror
cover
movie.
of Halloween.
I was gonna say Scream, and I was like, no wait, I'm thinking of Halloween.
How appropriate. Yes, that
Uh,
one, please.
Jessica,
And as these three are trying to get their bearings, Rosie's just kind of like Kubrick staring at the fucking knife.
Jessica, I would like somebody to make a brains check, somebody to make a grit check. And the last
I'll do
two,
grit and I'll do better.
the last two, I want you to make charm checks.
I'm
Billy
on charm.
and Jessica, you see your friends and all of this, and you're seeing where you were actually in ghost form. You were burned by this holy water. But you notice that in addition to your living friends that are around you, you see dozens upon dozens of specters, of soldiers from post-World War I, some of them with missing limbs. But as you look closer, you realize some of these specters aren't missing limbs. In fact, they have extra appendages. Some of them look like 2 or 3 people fused together. You see one that's 2-headed, You see another soldier with 4 arms, so 2 of them are twisted and shriveled. You see one that comes moving from the background across the floor. Almost like a puddle. You can see vestiges of limbs within this goop, and you see a face looking in horror up at you.
Oh.
Ew. Jessica says as she takes a step back. Billy, why do you have so many freaky soldiers in your house?
I don't know what this is. And I'll turn to these soldiers and say, hey, how can we help you?
So, Grit was a success. Charm is a success. Brains, not so much. Wait. You got a 10 now. That's still not a success. I would like Jessica and Billy to use one of your ghost abilities. You can use your vision of the past to see a past event. You can use something, I don't remember if I told you this one, called spectral eavesdrop, which doesn't let you see a past event, but it lets you hear fragments of conversation from the past. Or if you can think of a different creative thing you'd like to suss out about the scene that you're seeing here.
No, I've used some abilities. Do you want to give it a shot, Jess, or would you like me to do it?
Yeah, I'll go. I'd like to spectrally drop some eaves.
Actually, there is there is a thing. I gotta find it. I had one other thing in here.
Hey, spectrally dropping no eaves, sir.
While Jake is checking, check us out on teespring.com. At teespring.com, we got all kinds of great new designs, like our wonderful terrain treats domain pops. We got ew, and of course, aw beans. You can get them on tank tops, hoodies, t-shirts, and so much more. Teespring.com. Just check the link in the description for this video.
As we move into this final section, a new ability is unlocked called Echoes of Death. You can make a grit check, and you can potentially tap into the memories and or motives of somebody who has committed murders in this house.
Yes.
So you can drop Eves, or you can try an Echo of Death check if you would like.
I think I'm going to do the Echoes of Death.
Okay.
I want to try and start ticking off the murderers here.
Also, while you're doing that, the timer just went off. I need everybody who's still alive to roll a D100, please.
Another one bites the dust.
So you're going to make a grit check for that Echoes of Death.
Whew, I got an 11.
Okay.
So we got 15, 17, 74, and 84.
Right, those are pretty tightly packed.
And I have a 40.
If it's Price is Right rules, I think that's
It's
me.
not. It's either direction.
We've had
So we've
one.
got
Billy went over.
So
us
we've got a
first.
34 and a 44 above. We've got a, was that a
23. It's Coop.
25 and a 23. So
Sorry, Coop.
Honor serving with you.
it's not just Coop. Oak and Coop. I need you both to roll D20s.
Dude, it's just us.
Hey, if
We
I
need
die,
to
don't forget to grab my
recon-
backpack.
We need to rekindle our romance.
at once.
Can I add my star to my roll?
This is exactly how
I
horror
mean,
movies go. It's the last couple.
You can't roll higher than a 20.
Oh, I know.
And this is not a scaled, like, the higher you roll, the worse it is.
Okay, then I'll just let it ride.
Let it ride.
This is how you die roll. That's it.
Except fate.
This is literally called a horrific haunted death table. So you got a 3. What do you got, Oak? Is that a 10?
That
Okay.
is a 10 indeed. Yep.
Wow.
So,
Oh, God.
because Coop has the lower number, I'm going to have you go first. As Jessica, you are tapping into this new power that you feel. Tapping into the echoes of death within Stapler House. The first 2 echoes you hear are the very most recent. As you hear what sounds like ice cracking. It sounds, in fact, like something that is flash freezing. We see Coop, where your sleeve is wet from the holy water.
Oh.
As the holy water begins to first instantly freeze, and then your hands, or hand, and then the power glove begin to frost over, and very rapidly Coop turns into a frozen statue of himself.
Guys, what's happening to me?
Oh my God.
As-
no.
As Oak, you almost instinctively reach out for your friend. You see your fingertips starting to turn to dust and fall away, and you are straight up getting Thanos snapped. You start to turn to dust.
I imagine there's this sequence where I'm panicking. Coop starts to like freeze, and as he's like one of my best friends, I immediately jump to try to stop whatever it is, and I'm hugging him. I'm holding his frozen body, and as I'm holding that frozen body, I start feeling myself fade, and sand, like a puddle of sand, falls around. You watch as Oak looks back to both of you and goes, "Guys, I don't help." And as he says help, it only gets halfway out, and it's just the jaw drops with dust, and there is a puddle, a ring of sand around Coop's body now, between the two of us. So you're down in this basement now with a Coopsicle and a puddle of oak.
Coop is a living domain pop.
Oh God.
As 2 more of your friends fall victim to the house, you are also being tapped into this echo of death that Jessica has tapped into. You see and feel and hear this sort of, and you see Jessica suddenly fade into view amongst you, standing there. You see her eyes are rolled back into her head tilted back, and she's risen up on her toes, hands reached out. And you see, as you rapidly begin to see events happening in different parts of the house, the history of the Stapler house begins to unfold before all of you. You see, in 1975, you are standing, your view is from outside of Stapler House, as a young 20-year-old Nancy is carrying 5-year-old Billy. But they're walking backwards into Stapler House, and we follow them on the night that Nancy Stapler grabbed her 5-year-old son and escaped the Stapler house. We watch as she walks backwards through every room of the house, the walls painted in blood, the disembodied or dismembered bodies strewn about. Where before we saw her making light steps to step over things, we see now that she's stepping over arms and legs and torsos. Every room is this macabre scene of murder. But we begin to see something different about these bodies. They aren't the bodies of ordinary people. This body, you're pretty certain, has scales. You see on the severed head the torn remains of gills. You see another body slumped against the wall with one horn rising up and a broken horn on the other side, a ring in its nose. And you see in the library, you see several bodies that look like they're partially burned. Every one of them with a wooden stake driven through its chest. You realize that in 1975, on the night that Nancy took her son away from Stapler House, the Staplers had a party and invited a bunch of their monstrous friends and had murdered them all. But we keep going backwards through time. We see Darla Stapler, the scene we've already seen, coming in and killing her grandfather in a burst of anger. And we see Darla, we follow Darla as she heads outside. We see in rapid succession the events of the barn and the raven. And then we keep going backwards in time. We see, for a period of a few years following 1915, the house has taken on a completely different appearance. Rooms that before housed members of the Stapler family now house wounded soldiers. The first two floors, we can see nurses and doctors. We see people in different stages of care. On the first floor are people that are in more dire need of assistance. On the second floor are people that are ambulatory, people that can sort of care for themselves, but they still have nowhere to go. Some of them even volunteer around the house and help out. We see that every one of them ignores the occasional screaming that rises up from the basement floor, where you all are now. And we see the horrific experiments that are being conducted down below. As we see each of these people in these various states of being ripped apart and put back together in different combinations, we see some experiments that almost defy understanding. It's experiments to sever the soul from the corporeal body. We see experiments in which they are attempting to tip the balances between good and evil within a person. As you are seeing all of these echoes unfold, you realize that in the middle of this floor, carved into the cement of this floor, is a sigil. familiar looking sigil. Not even almost, identical to the sigil you once saw in the first iteration in the basement of Page's bookstore. What was told to you to be a sigil of protection. Placed there by the Page sisters. And that's when you realize it's the Page sisters that have been conducting all of these experiments in the basement of the Stapler house. But Jessica, with this echoes of the past, echoes of death enacted, you see something that nobody else can see. Each of the sisters, Nikki, Chrissy, and Tammy, as you know them, conducting their various experiments in what can only be described as evil. You see the arcane lines that look just like the ley lines that you've seen before, trailing away from each one of them like puppet strings. And they all lead to a closed room in the southernmost corner of the basement. You can see each of these ley lines as energy is funneling through them. Something is manipulating and controlling the Page sisters. And that's when the echoes of death stop. And Jessica, you in your ghost form drop to the floor. And you see Billy. And you see Coop and Oak in ghost form now standing around you.
I think that Jessica just looks down at that way where the ley lines are and looks directly to Billy and says, "Our answer is down that way. We have to go down there."
Every one of you saw these visions except for that last part about the ley lines. Only Jessica saw that.
What did you see, Jess?
The sisters, they're all being controlled by something. There's like ley lines. They're like strings on a puppet. They're controlling, something is controlling them. And she points again her finger down in that way, and they came from there.
Now, if you saw something, then we absolutely should check it out. And I'll gesture towards Oak and Coop. Welcome to death. We can't figure this out. According to Soldier Boy in the kitchen here, we're going to be here a long time. And I'll start drifting towards the corner where Jess pointed.
I think there's a moment where we pause, like where there's a pause in Oak, and Oak will reach out a hand to dead Coop, and like we'll lock hands if it allows, or it'll just pass through like freaking Casper level. But hey, we'll float arm in arm together into our oblivion. I'm okay with that. That sounds like a plan.
You're both ghosts. You can interact.
And
yeah.
What about the two living souls?
As soon as Rosie sees this whole vision, she goes, "God, this place sucks."
Right.
And then she looks over at Laz, and Laz, she's like making eye contact with you for the first time in what feels like a while. And she's just like, "You gotta get out of here, Laz."
Right. So it's got to do with something with the witches in this like protective circle, right?
Yes. I guess. I mean, this place was safe last time. But we can't just, like, stand here. It's something to do with the witches. We gotta look around. And Rosie kind of starts looking around down here. She still has her knife. She's not getting rid of.
Laz is looking for any particular clues as well.
Yeah.
But he's also going to be looking for any kind of accelerants that he might be able to find.
Go ahead and make brains checks, the two of you. Go ahead, Billy.
So do I see the spot that Jess was pointing out?
Yes.
So I want to use my chill touch and say here.
Go ahead and make a grit check. Wait, what's chill touch? Chill touch. Nope. Chill touch. Chill touch. Chill touch, yes, is grit.
You guys sound like you had a thought there.
No, I was looking at what Carrie and Jeremy rolled, and this at this stage, you're nowhere near close enough to hit DCs. So I would like you both to roll me D100s.
Laz is going to be the final girl. I know it. Yeah, here we go. You motherfucker. Price is right at me. You reverse Price is right at me.
Well, these aren't death. These weren't death D100s. These were just.
Oh, okay, good. Whew.
These were just for haunting effects.
Great.
At this point, there's like part of the basement is covered in plastic, and the plastic seems to move in a wind that isn't there. As you're looking around for accelerants, Laz, you knock over a box that is filled with children's toys. And as it falls to the ground, one toy in particular just sort of falls to your feet. And it's a red ball with a blue stripe and a yellow star.
It's happening.
And it rolls up next to your foot.
Hey, I found one of these not that long ago.
Found one of what? Rosie's still just like looking around.
Well, like balls with stars on them.
Rosie looks over her shoulder and she kind of shrugs. She's like, yeah, so?
It's just weird that I would have found two of them.
Yeah, I guess. Rosie's just looking for like any sign that the witches have been here, or I guess she's looking for anything that she would have seen in the basement of Pages, like in the first iteration. Any familiar things.
Ted, did you give a grit check for your chill touch?
Yeah, so 9 on the die, and I would like to use my gold star to make that an 11.
As you're looking around, you do see on the floor, you actually hear what sounds like a stone scraping against stone. And you see an icy, crude arrow that points in the southwestern corner. Billy or Laz, do you pick up the ball?
Yeah.
Are you keeping it to add to your collection?
Well, I mean, for the time being, he's just going to hold it in his offhand.
Are you following the arrow that's pointing to the southwest corner?
If he saw it, yeah, he'll absolutely call it out to Rosie. Hey, look. Just like upstairs in the kitchen.
I come over there
somebody's
and I
trying to
look.
help us.
Holy shit. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it could be leading us into a trap, but, you know, we can just stay on our toes, and it's the best lead we got, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, and I got your back if you got mine.
Rosie looks over at Laz, and she just kind of like, she would smile, like a little bit, and just kind of nod. Doesn't say anything.
All right, poker in one hand and starball in the other.
Knife in one hand and ready to murder. Here we go.
As the two
baseball bat
remaining living characters begin to make their way, the ghost characters are also making their way to this corner. You all approach this door. The room looks like an ordinary room in a basement, except that the walls of this room are also made of cement. And where the corner of this room, so this room sits in the corner, and the corner that you're approaching is actually an angled corner, and that's where the door is. So if you picture a square with one corner that's angular with the door in the middle of it, and this door is made of some kind of iron that has been painted green and has a brass wheel in the middle of it. As you approach, all of you can feel an energy. You can hear thum, 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 thum. The thrumming, rhythmic pulsing. Who's brave enough to try to open the door? Not the ghost.
Rosie would look over at Laz, and she'd be like, "You hear that too, right?"
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I got it. I got it.
You sure?
Yeah. And Rosie would wink, and she's like, "You know, I'm stronger than you." And she would kind of like walk a step towards this thing and just be like, "Just get my back." And she like takes a step towards this wheel.
She stepped towards the wheel. Need Laz and Rosie to roll a D100.
This feels consequential. All right.
98.
Whoops.
Oh God.
Rolled a 7.
Oh, wow.
Oh well. Congratulations. You did it.
Rosie, roll me a D20.
Oh fuck. Okay. Oh, 12.
Reroll, please. Somebody already
Okay.
died that way.
Oh great. 13. Lucky 13.
Rosie looks to you, Lass, and says, "You know I'm stronger than you." Turns and grabs hold of the wheel on the door. When a big portion of the ceiling collapses onto Rosie. It's sudden, as it doesn't even make sense, because as far as you know, although you don't fully know the layout of the house, you don't think you're under the grand hall, but the safe just fell through the floor.
God, I got Wile E. Coyote.
With such force
Acme on the side.
that hashtag hand stuff, all you see is Rosie's arms holding onto the wheel of the door.
No, what the fuck?
Splat.
Rosie!
One of the arms falls to the ground as the other arm was gripping the door wheel, and the weight of it just goes as it swings round to the bottom, it's enough, and you hear the as you barely had a moment to process Rosie's instantaneous death. And Rosie, you sort of, your ghost form is sort of pushed back, and you kind of bump into Ghost Jessica as you see this safe and you see the scene play out in front of you.
God damn it. Oh. Yeah, that's my pitching arm. It's stronger than the other one. God damn it. And Rosie would just like shake her head and be like, hey guys.
Well, welcome to death.
Hi. I guess it's a dead man's party. Like, welcome.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. You tried to open the door. That's great.
Oh, that was dumb. I shouldn't have done that.
Oh, you did what we had to do, right? Like, feel.
I guess
proud
I wouldn't
of
want
that.
Laz to get squished.
This is
Yeah,
where
what the hell? I'm gonna give it a try, if you'll let me.
you can try what?
Coop.
I want to do a chill touch to
On the
write
safe?
something on the safe.
Okay.
Do you just want me to roll for it, or do you want me to tell you
Both.
first? Okay. Coop is going to write key ring on the door of the safe, hoping that Laz will understand what he's saying.
Key ring?
Key ring, because we're looking at a green door with a brass handle.
Oh.
I might be able to save Laz.
Hell yeah.
Okay, roll
For
your...
the viewers at home, Coop has in his possession, so probably in his backpack or his coat, somewhere on his dead body, is the key ring that was given to him by Jake the Miner, which will allow you to use a key in a green door with a brass handle to go anywhere.
Yes, dude.
But that's not going to happen today, because even with my star, that's going to be a 6.
Laz,
Work? It's just spelled wrong.
a couple things happen here. One, you see as you're, whether you're looking or trying to avoid looking at the safe that has just crushed Rosie. You see frozen, almost like the intricate markings of frost that appears at the corner of windows across the metal of this safe. For some reason, the word Erie appears, which is the name of one of the 5 Great Lakes. But you also notice that when Rosie's severed arm, came down with the weight on the handle, the wheel of the door, it was apparently enough to unlatch it, because the door is slightly ajar. And there is a bluish light on the other side of that door.
The Laz, through like angry tears, like plastered on his face, kind of looks up at this door with kind of renewed resolve, understanding that the only way out of this is likely through this fucking door, that he has to go through with this in order to try to bring an end, hopefully, to this situation, one way or another. So he just kind of grits his teeth together and pushes forward, kind of hefting that poker a little tighter in his fist. Just kind of reaches up and grabs this door and pulls or pushes it.
As you open the door, you see the blue light is emanating from a mass of twisted, fibrous tissue that appears both organic and supernatural. The surfaces glisten with a slick black ichor that seems to ooze and crawl. Veins that are pulsing with a deep blue glow, throbbing rhythmically like some kind of monstrous heartbeat. You can hear it and feel it reverberating through the structure of the house. Zoom, zoom. Zoom, zoom. This disturbing beat is also accompanied by a chorus of unsettling whispers. With every beat, you hear. The energy seems to pulse out through, seems to reach into these tendrils, into the very, they don't seem to like puncture the walls so much as they seem to blend into it. And you see and realize that this is... Heart doesn't quite seem right. Brain doesn't quite seem right. Almost like it's an amalgamation of heart and brain. Twisted soul. But one word comes to the forefront of your mind. Sentience. You realize that you are looking at what is essentially Stapler House's soul. The rest of you can see in your ghost forms the tendrils that seep outward. You can see through the walls, through the ground, as these tendrils branch out away from the house. And for a moment we see a bird's eye view flying up into the sky as we see these energy lines streaking in all different directions, connecting to different points around Paradise. The ley lines connecting to the nexus points. Each point is a point of sentience. You realize for the first time something you've never noticed about ley lines in your brief investigations. The energy that flows through them moves directionally. And we follow the pathways in reverse. And all of the ley lines, each ley line, each nexus point is connected to every other nexus point. But they all seem to move like a river. And they all begin flowing backwards. Every single point in Paradise, except for two, flow backwards into Stapler House, which then flows backwards into Candle Point Lighthouse, which then flows backwards, the point of origin for the ley lines in all of Paradise, a place none of you have ever visited, nor have you seen. We follow the energy across the waters of Lake Michigan to South Manitou Island.
Ooh.
And all of you know Paradise, Michigan. It's a living, breathing, thinking entity.
Ooh.
And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh my god. Oh.
So.
Oh boy.
So we end with 5 of us being dead. Got it.
Do we just wake up next morning?
I will tell you. So just to ease your player minds, that you can expect to wake up in class next week. So be thinking about how you want to suddenly awaken and where in the school you might be, but it's that same day.
Is this a bad time to remind you I can't make it next week?
No, this is great because
Jesus.
It looks like the last one killed is not going to wake up.
In that case, can I add on something at the very, very end?
Sure.
Oh. I think that Laz is staring at this thing, and there's just like malice and hatred just like brewing on his face. And he looks over and then looks back at this thing, and he says, "Enough's enough." And he slams the poker into a nearby electrical outlet and points his fingers right at the brain.
Oh.
I'm still going to leave it at that. We're not going to see what happened with that.
Awesome. Oh my god. That's great. That's great. It's like the ending of The Sopranos.
So this was intended tonight to be largely just a fun Halloween. I'm gonna terrorize the crap out of your characters, but I also wanted it to be connected to the actual story, and I wanted it to have implications for the broader story. So you all were the ghosts of Stapler House, everybody except for Laz. I'm also surprised that it took until the post-credit scenes for Laz to be the only one of you to use their character abilities. To be
fair, I would have used mine, except I am liquid.
Yeah.
By the time I thought of it, I was a ghost.
Yeah.
So, and then we had ghost powers.
I died first, so there really wasn't a whole lot of call to, get werewolf.
We all have a permission slip, Jacob.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that as
awesome.
a spooky spoopy.
Spooky, scary,
spooky, creepy diversion.
Good job, M. Night Norman.
With a little bit of terrorizing of your characters and some reveals. Thank you for going along for the ride. I lost track of what I was going to say. I was going to say something else, but I hope you guys had fun. I kind of.
It was awesome.
I kind of
stuff. Say goodbye.
I had this running through my head for a while, and mysteries are difficult to pull off in RPGs when they're. That's why there were multiple things going on, and pretty much everything that was referenced in this episode are things that were specific dates and things that were referenced in any number of previous 66 episodes of this series. At one point I could not remember something, and I almost went to Tamiko, and I'm like, I can't tip my hand. Why I need to know this? I couldn't remember the year and what the house was called in 1915 when it was called Samaritan House. But thanks to Tamiko's extensive notes, there was also something else.
Is titled Stapler House with all of the episodes in it.
Well, there were certain things I couldn't remember about when or how when Nancy took Billy, 5-year-old Billy, out of the house. I couldn't quite remember that. So I just searched the word blood through the entire thing and looked at every reference. There are a lot of references to blood in this game. I'll just say that.
You don't say.
Second only to hands.
Yeah. Second only to hands. So with that, thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. Shout out to formerly known as Emily for rating in. I believe they were playing Phasmophobia earlier tonight. If you aren't already, please do follow formerly known as Emily. See if I can get that to work. Yes.
Hey.
There's a link to their Twitch in the chat. Shout out. They are part of the domain. And they do some fun streams, so go check them out. And of course, thank you to those that supported with bits and the 69 months. Nice. Resub.
Jeremy has a quick thing too, Jake.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, go ahead, Jeremy. That's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah. I was just gonna say tomorrow night over on my channel, the Erasmus Expeditions on YouTube, there will be another 80s horror one shot. This one titled Campfire. We're gonna be playing some Badge Quest, and you'll see some familiar faces over there. So yeah,
excellent. Yeah, so thank you to everybody who hung out and chat with us. We always appreciate that. If you're somebody that likes to lurk quietly in the background, or if you are watching with us on the VOD later, know that we appreciate you all the same as well. We are going to, as we head out of here, we are going to raid a friend of the channel. They changed their raids, and I can't wait. Maybe I can raid them. They changed this, so I keep trying to do it. DC, there we go. DC Lacer is doing something called Vampire Survivors. So we're gonna send you all over there in a moment. And tell them MTD sent you. So with that, thank you. A final thank you to these amazing players who trust me enough to go on a weird horror ride for Halloween night. Thank you, Chad, Tamiko, Carrie, Ted, Jeremy, and Em, without whom this would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream. You can say it with me if you want. Metadad.
It's okay, buddy. You've got to do something about